Okay, it is time again for the Diana Wright Show live right here around the world and in the United States. We thank you so much for joining us. And as I pursue my journey of happiness, not just for me, but for you and each and every one of you, and as I pursue my journey, my crusade of having you loving yourself and teaching your children to love themselves, you have to sometimes buck up or encounter people like Glenn Beck, who is referring to the devil on the series The Bible on the History Channel, and referring to the devil as President Obama. Disrespectful, yes, but I prefer to think that Glenn Beck's day is coming soon. And we should not pay attention to people who are filled with simply what's called hate. You spell it H-A-T-E, and that's all they're filled with. They have no compassion, no morals, but they have a bully pulpit that was given to them by Fox, and now on another avenue. So he speaks and he tweets, and people follow because his name is Glenn Beck. Why can't we follow something that's more productive, like I Love Me Crusade that I am doing on this Diana Wright Show, live every day? Why can't we do that? Why can't we follow something positive and good for people instead of trying to beat people down all the time? So as Glenn Beck continues to spew his hate for President Barack Obama, and possibly for other people, and I know he hates himself, because no one that loves who they are willing to throw out grenades like the ones he continued to throw out and to tweet out to his followers and his other crazies. So let's move on with our deal here, because our deal on this show, on the Diana Wright Show Live, is destined to take you to a better place and a better journey and a better life. That is indeed beautiful without people like Glenn Beck trying to stir up hate. Has he noticed that he looks like the devil too? That's in the Bible? The mini-series that's running on the History Channel? Haven't got a chance to see it yet. But they've promoted it so much that you might as well be seeing it on the promotion and you don't have to watch it, because the star of the names that are behind it. But as we declare that April 30th is International I Love Me Day on this program, I would like to tell Anna, who was referred to as one of the people in this very long article from the Philadelphia magazine. And I believe that the article was written to get the magazine some publicity, and it did, to get the author, the writer, some publicity too, and it did. And it also reminded us the way people think, whether they're white or black, because black people have their own thoughts about white people, and white people have their own thoughts about black people. And all the people that are thinking that we don't need this and we don't need that in this country because there's no racism, who are they trying to fool? And we should indeed be able to talk about it honestly and openly. And as I continue to pursue happiness and joy and peace on this show, I will take time to point out, to bring you back to reality, to know that if you don't love who you are bound to be destined to be destroyed by people like Glenn Beck and people like Anna, who is from Russia, who has 2 years left or whatever time left here to study law or whatever she's doing in Philadelphia. But she found so much time to speak to the writer of this article And I'm going to pick out some more stuff because the article is very long. You have to read it and pick out the things that are just offensive. The mayor is hopping mad about it. Agree with him with a lot of things, but I don't think he should call for them to, rebuke the magazine or anything of that nature. People are free to write what they want to write. But it's just to remind us that we're surrounded with hate. So we have to take care of our own happiness and also begin by loving who we are. Because you see, if we don't love ourselves as a people, then how do you expect white people to love us? If you don't love yourself, I love myself. And hate to the folks who don't love you or me. That's their problem. But you have to begin, I tell you, you have to and must begin with the process of loving yourself. And as I take time out to say, feel better to my good friend who is not feeling so well under the weather in this rain tonight. Hope you get over that flu real quickly. And thank you for being a very faithful viewer of the program. But as we continue to see the hate that comes out, when you squelch the fire a little bit and then boom, the fire blazes around the corner. So we look at this woman who was interviewed because the article is titled, Being White in Philly. How about being black in West Palm Beach or black on the island of Palm Beach? How about that? Going into a store as a black person on Worth Avenue and they look at you as if, why are you here? So there's blame to go all around. But let me just share a little bit of what this young lady decided to say. All black people smoke pot and popping out babies? When last I checked, I never popped out any, but one. Blacks use skin color as an excuse? Certainly not here. How many black people does she really know? Discrimination is an excuse instead of moving forward? Wow. I hope when she goes back to the Soviet Union, she moves very forward. It's a shame. You pay taxes. They're not doing anything except sitting on porches smoking pot. Why do you support them where they don't work? Is she trying to say that black people don't work? Because I see a whole lot of black people going to work in the mornings where I live. I see them taking the bus. I see them having more than one job. And oh, how privileged she is to come to our country and tell us off while she's trying to learn something here to take back to her country. Why didn't she stay in her country and study what she's studying? Law or whatever it is she's studying. So as we pursue loving ourselves for who we are and stop trying to be looking like white people, because that's not the way around the corner. The way around the corner is to love who you are and celebrate who you are. Absolutely. We are wonderfully made, all of us. And just in case Anna forgot, when she dies, she will get the same amount of real estate as the black people on the porch smoking the pot. The exact amount of real estate in the earth. And we all will die one day. And when we die, have you ever gone to a morgue and see the way they treat the dead? They treat them all the same. No one is special. They throw them down on, a kind of zinky looking stainless steel cold kind of table. And if they're doing an autopsy, they just cut and pierce and do what they do. No one is special. So let us all think of ourselves as special while we are here on this earth. And not hasten to assume about people and their struggles and where they've been and where you have never been. I have done this for years, talking about people who like to talk about African Americans and how they don't like to work and they don't this and they don't that. You cannot speak about other people's experience until you've experienced it yourself. And the struggles of African Americans are the reason why a lot of us can come here from other countries and be a part of this country. It's because of their struggles and their suffering why we can be here. So enjoy your little piece of happiness and joy and your law school here. And shut up. And so what? And how dare you think that people don't pay taxes and all they do is pump out them babies? What are you saying about Spanish people? They have lots and lots of babies, more than African Americans. So what are you saying about them? You don't like brown people either? And we must and we should be talking about race. It should not be something that we're all scared to say the words racism. There is racism in the United States of America and just about everywhere else in the world. Not necessarily in the same way. You have class racism in the Caribbean amongst their own people. You have racism among blacks themselves, because if you're brown, you're supposed to be a little uppity more than the dark-skinned black person. And if you have good hair, as they call it, long hair, not the one that you weave in, but the one that you were born with, then you're ostracized too for having long hair and brown skin. So you become a browning, or you become different names and different things they call you. And you have people like Tiger Woods, who is part Asian and part black and just can't find who he is. So he goes to white women only, it seems. And I can name you some others. So until we begin to love who we are as black, as white, as Hispanic, or whatever nation we are, the key to all of this is saying and knowing and believing when you say the words, I love me. So as I will bring you some more of this article tomorrow, because I just thought that some of the quotations in there are quite offensive. I just picked that one out to share. Because we should never begin to criticize and be judgmental about people and be uppity and have our nose up in the air because we think that those people don't have what we have. Most of the billionaires and the success stories of this land in the United States of America, from Bill Gates to Zuckerberg to Ellen DeGeneres, to all the names that they published, who dropped out of college, never went to college. One man on there said his college was going to the library and doing research. So let us not look down our noses on people when they're struggling and you don't know why they're struggling. Did Anna, the name that the writer gave this person from the Soviet Union, from Russia, did she take time out to even say hello to one of those people and find out their story? Because I will guarantee you, every single human being walking on the face of this earth has a story. And sometimes when you hear their story, you are so humbled by the blessings that you have in your life. So let us not go around talking about people not paying taxes and all they do is sit around and pop out babies and smoke pot. And all the other offensive things that were said in the article. The writer got what they were looking for, and so did the magazine, publicity, and they're getting it. The Philadelphia magazine, I would never have known about it until today. So as we look at the article, don't shoot the messenger, which is the writer, and don't shoot the magazine. The magazine did nothing wrong. They're just writing something and saying what people are thinking and feeling and going through in their hearts. Because people like Glenn Beck, who believe that the president is a devil, and he's not even brave enough to come out and call the name out. Because he himself is a coward. Glenn Beck is a coward. And a man full of hate, and I will bet you, and I will declare it right here on the Diana Wright Show, that Glenn Beck hates himself. Because if he did not hate himself, he would not be so filled with hate for another human being like President Barack Obama, which he doesn't know. He doesn't know him. Do you hate someone you don't know? Waste of energy. So let us proceed on our course here to deal with the word happiness, joy, and peace. And I got to one of these books that I have on my shelves, my bookshelves here, and I doing some stuff and remembered my book, 3 Keys to Happiness, and this was said by Joseph Addison. The grand essentials to happiness in this life are something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. That's Joseph Addison. And I'd read you another one here. Happiness and Harmony. This one, of course, is by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Of course, Gandhi, the Indian nationalist, as you all know. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. So, Mr. Glenn Beck, when you come up with your hate, just think of these words. And here's another one. This one is by Franklin D. Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States from 1882 to 1945. Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. I'll continue to read you some quotes from this book. I've had it on my shelf for a while when I used to interview mostly authors when I was on Mystic 1580 radio, and I got books from everywhere. I have tons of books in my house from every author around the country that heard that I was doing this. And we invite you now to do that, because I want to do that again, because I think it's important for authors to be celebrated, because it takes time and it takes talent and it takes courage to put your thoughts on paper. So I have a lot of respect for authors. I'm one now myself. Deadly Negligence is the name of my book. Even though mine is a true story and a tragic one, I do love when authors, especially those with great imagination. So, let's continue to love who we are, celebrate who we are, find our own happiness, our own joy, and our own peace. And then when people like Glenn Beck and this Anna person says things that offends us, we can just roll it off our backs and not worry about it. Because you know who you are. You know who God made you to be, and you're all wonderfully and beautifully made. So once again, I say thank you so much for joining me from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show Live, and we go to some politics, and it's nice to see that there's a grand disagreement between Mr. Karl Rove and none other than, I call her now comedian, reality show star, Sarah Palin. Yeah, they had it out at the CPAC convention, or whatever they call that thing. So, but you see, when she made fun of Karl Rove and Mayor Bloomberg, Karl Rove was not going to take it sitting down. He came out and he just whacked her. Yes, he said, well, if I were an elected official, elected to office, and I ran for office, I would have served my term out. And she didn't even serve out her time as governor of Alaska. Whoops! That hit hard. And then you see, there was a 100-page report coming out of CPAC titled Growth and Opportunity Project. So, this is what the Republicans are thinking for 2016. Because you see, after each election, they plan the next election. And they prepare for the next election. So no one has any time to do any work. It's just about getting elected. So the 100-page report is entitled, again, Growth and Opportunity Project. And that's the result of their CPAC that they had this weekend. So Chairman Priebus said, our message was weak. This is the reason why they lost the 2012 election now to President Obama. Our message was weak. Our ground game was insufficient. We weren't inclusive. Wow. We were behind in both data and digital. Our primary and debate process needed improvement. He also said that the RNC was broke when he took it over from Chairman Steele. Chairman Steele did not take that very lightly either, because he was pissed when Priebus says that they could not even write a check when he took over as chairman because all the money was gone from the RNC bank account. So Steele whipped out himself and said, well, the reason why we didn't have any money because we spent it electing Tea Party candidates. I don't know if that's anything to be proud of, because them Tea Party candidates are the ones that are creating most of the havoc in Washington, blocking everything that the president tries to do, and they're all a bunch of crazies. They didn't go there to do anything. They went there to block things, and that's not what you do. So, Mr. Steele, sorry to tell you that I'm not so sure you did a good thing by emptying the bank account on those crazy people that you sent to Washington, because they did not deserve to go there, because they're a bunch of dumb-dos who are just blocking the process of moving our country, America, forward. Getting things done, compromising, working with the president. No, they're just there to blockade. That's the reason they went there, and they're gonna be damned if they do anything else but that. So, maybe it was good that Mr. Priebus lost everything instead of you winning all them Tea Party crazies. That's my rant on that. And you see, again, well, you see, politicians are strange people, but anyway, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton came out today in support of gay marriage. And this is what she said, and I'll quote, like many others, my views have been shaped over time. Time heals all wounds, doesn't it? Takes care of all things. I love Hillary Clinton. And she says this, and when you watched her video, she thought it was very thoughtful, the way she presented it. By people I have known and loved, by my experience representing our nation on the world stage, my devotion to law, don't forget she's an attorney, and human rights, she's a lawyer, yes, and the guiding principle of my faith, she said, close quote. Clinton joins, of course, other people like Senator Portman, who came out on Friday to say, make his announcement. Don't forget, he's a Republican. Hillary is a Democrat. And he has changed his mind about supporting gay marriage. But it got me thinking all weekend that he was willing, Senator Portman, he was willing to allow all the other gay people out there to struggle and suffer and fight for gay marriage. Not that I'm in, support or not of it. But he was willing to let everyone out there continue to struggle. But the moment his son announced his gayness, he was willing to change his mind. So why is it that he would want for his child what he was willing to take away from all the other gay people who were just fighting for their own rights to be gay and be married and have all the same benefits of heterosexual married people? Why? That is my question. Why was Senator Portman easily willing to let those people struggle and suffer? But because his son, one person, is gay, and somehow I'm trying to figure out how he didn't know. Because his son is in college, and I'm sure he's lived with him. His son said that he's always known and always been gay. So is it that we live in denial as parents when we see this happening around us? And are we always willing to watch other people's children suffer while we support something? But yet, when our child announces that he's gay, we're willing to throw it all down and support what all those other people have been fighting for. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, he's brave and he's this. No, I think he's selfish. Senator Portman is selfish because he was willing to allow you to suffer as a gay community by not giving you his vote. But yet he's willing to give it to you only because his son, his flesh and blood, is now gay. So as we examine that, we should think about it. What are we willing to do because of our children and we're not willing to do for someone else's child? Aren't those gay people just as good as Senator Portman's son? Maybe, maybe not. I think they are. It's the same struggle, it's the same fight for civil rights, for rights as gay people. Just as rights for disabled people. So please give it some thought. Because before you start thinking it's such a brave, wonderful thing for him to have done. I don't think so. I believe it's a selfish thing. And yes, it's good for his son for him to do that. But why was he so willing to do it to other people's children? But no, it has to change because his son is now gay. Who are we as a people? How selfish and individualistic are we? Hence, we need to love who we are, celebrate our children for who they are, and support and guide them to their journey, because their journey is not our journey. We should not live vicariously through our children. So, I see that Mayor Bloomberg is now on another train. And as he was mocked by comedian Sarah Palin at CPAC with her big guzzling cup of whatever she had in the cup, and don't be fooled, people out there, she is not skinny because she's drinking that big guzzle of Coke or Pepsi or whatever soda is in it. She's lying to you. Because she's just trying to get a little richer by writing some book, some Christmas book, I gather she's going to be writing. It's all about the money. Okay? Believe me, it's all about the money with some of these people. They run for office, and they get a job on Fox, and they go on reality shows, and they write books, and they sell millions. And she's up there with her skinny self holding up that big jug of soda? And you're supposed to believe that that's what she's doing? That's just a prop to get you wired up against Mayor Bloomberg. When Mayor Bloomberg is just trying to save your life the way she's saving her life by eating well and losing all the weight that she's lost and writing it down. And I'm sure she'll be writing a book soon about her weight loss. So don't be fooled. Don't be conned by these people, please. Open your eyes and see through the forest to the trees. Because you all should not be fooled as much as you're being fooled by all these politicians right now. So Mayor Bloomberg has gone to the cigarette. So if you're in New York City, he's trying to make sure that you're not displaying your cigarettes all over the place, so young people can come in there and see these cigarettes and just want to smoke them. I don't know how far he's going to get with this one, because this one has to go to the legislator. The legislators in New York, are they going to vote for this? I don't know. They didn't need to vote on the soda thing, the big supersized sodas, but a judge and a determined set of people got it thrown out. So let's watch and see what Mayor Bloomberg does. See? No more cigarette displays in the New York City stores. You have to lock them up in a safe, hide them somewhere, and can't be seen, says Mayor Bloomberg. So we'll watch and see that one, how it works out. They're supposed to be discussing it and bringing it to the table on Wednesday at the legislature. So we'll be watching that very keenly. All right. I have a few things here that are for your health, and I'm going to do them one by one. But just to let you know, just in case you didn't know, there is a few things happening, like April Stevens. I read this story and I thought it was quite funny. A Louisiana woman who says she is a fortune teller. And she has now been arrested. Why, you might ask? She has been accused by a client of ripping her off out of $10,000. And what did she tell the client? April told the client she was cursed and could die if she failed to follow her instructions and pay her the money, of course. So she was going to do a cleansing, you see, for $10,000. And the cleansing process took longer than the client was willing to wait or was expecting. So the client called the police and they arrested Miss April, the fortune teller. So if she's such a great fortune teller, shouldn't she have known that the cops were coming? And she was going to be arrested for telling the client some crazy baloney? Wow, she's going to get a cleansing. Oh, wow. Don't get fooled by these fortune tellers who are telling you all kind of rubbish. Anyway, for my young people this evening, I want to just remind you that if you're, just in case you're going to be doing an interview tomorrow morning, or this week or next week or whatever, just some tips for you to keep in mind. Arrive on time, number 1. So try to get there like half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes at the minimum before the time of the interview. You want to make sure you get there and you're relaxed and go to the bathroom, freshen yourself, and come back and sit and wait to be called. Bring reinforcements with you when you're going to that interview. Like bring extra copies of your resume, just in case they ask, you know, a list of your references and stuff like that. Just in case. They might never ask for it, but just in case you have it, you be prepared. Shake hands like you mean it. You know, when you go and you shake people's hands and they're so feeble, you barely feel their hands in yours. You must shake hands and hold firm to that hand and shake it so they know that you're strong and alert and ready to go. Don't skip the small talk. At the beginning of the interview, talk about the traffic, the weather, you know, whatever is happening around you. You can talk about that. It's okay to do that in an interview. Assess your surroundings. Now, this is a good key. If you see pictures of family and, you know, like someone skiing, or you see they love to fish, or they love sailing or whatever, make a comment about it. Oh, I see you love sailing like I do. Or I see you love to fish like I do. My dad taught me to fish, or whatever it is. Small talk is important. Slow down. We know you're nervous when you go for that interview, but take a breath. Deep breathly. Deep breathe. deeply. Yeah? And speak slowly. Don't try to rush through what you're going to say. Because you have it memorized in your brain, I know that. But don't make it look like you memorize it. Make it look like you are, you can speak well on your feet. I've seen a couple of those interviews where people are so nervous, their hands are sweating, they're knocking the table with a pen and clucking their knuckles and all kind of stuff. And watch your body language. See? That one is coming up. Wiggling your hands, biting your nails, and clicking the pen. Yeah, that's another one. Click, 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 click. You hear the pen going click, click, because that's nervous energy. And some people are stomping their feet and moving their feet around and trying to find a proper place to sit up. They don't know if they must sit down or sit up or what, So that's some of the tips we're giving you just in case you have an interview this week or tomorrow. Just, take a breath and relax and make sure you research the company that you're going to too. You should know about the company because they're going to ask you questions about the company, why you want to work for the company, that kind of stuff. And you want to know about the company. Is the company successful? Are they profitable? That kind of information. Welcome once again to the Diana Wright Show live right here with you. And we thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States as we move along with some health things for you. Some good ones. 10 ways to eat clean. Listen now, they say these things, eat clean. What do they mean by that, I thought? So I get down into it. Eating more whole grains could lengthen your life by reducing your risk of cardiovascular disease, infectious diseases, and respiratory diseases. And they're recommending that you eat that thing called quinoa and wild rice instead of white rice and white flour and those kind of things. Drink more green tea. It boosts your immune system. Drink more water. Of course, if the water is boring, add some lemon juice or some lime juice. And that will kick it up a notch, as Emerald would say. Eat more fruits and vegetables, like everyone tells you to do that, so it must be true by now. Cut down on your processed foods. Of course, those things in the bags and packages and cans and whatever is packaged already. Cut down on those things. Instead of chips and crackers, you can have some, cut up carrots or celery or cucumbers or whatever instead of the chips. I know chips are tempting, but you can do without it. I do. Yeah, you can actually do without it. I see popcorn is making a rebirth of gourmet popcorn. Now, I love popcorn. And when I feel for popcorn, I go in the store, I go to TJ Maxx and I buy me some exotic popcorn and I eat it. And there you go. I'm satisfied and I don't feel for popcorn for the rest of the year. But if I feel for that, I'm going to have it. Deprivation is not one of my things. And I think when you're dieting or when you're changing your lifestyle, you should not deprive yourself of things. Don't eat a lot, just eat a little to satisfy that craving. And once you satisfy that craving, it's gone. I promise you. And you won't even feel for popcorn again for the rest of the year. So, cut down on refined grains like white flour, white rice, and pasta. I love pasta. You go to Italy, you have to eat pasta. If you don't eat pasta in Italy, they think you're crazy. You're losing your mind or something. But there's healthier pasta. They have different kinds of pastas that you can find that are a little less starchy. So you can go for that. But if you feel like eating pasta one evening, eat the pasta and then the next day you eat just a little bit of something less fattening. Do it like the Parisians do. Cut down on saturated fats like whole milk and cheese and butter and meat. Go with nuts. Olive oil and avocados. Now, when they say nuts, they don't mean cashew nuts, which is my favorite nut. I love raw cashews. But they say it's fattening because it has lots of oils in it. But I actually like the meat of the cashews. You can't get that here. But if you're in the islands, you can get it. But it grows on that tree and it has that fruit. on the nut itself, it's beautiful. It tastes fantastic. And those things are actually good for you. Cut down or cut down on your salt. Try to use Mrs. Dash or something else. And use herbs and spices to give your food good taste as opposed to trying to salt it up. Because, everything tastes better with a little salt and a little butter. If you're a cook, you know that. But they're asking you to not do that, okay? Maybe once in a while. Cut down on sugar, of course. They say sugar is like cocaine. It's like a drug. And cut down on your alcohol. Of course, you can drink a glass of wine or whatever, but don't be sucking down that whiskey and all that other stuff. Okay, continuing with health, because we have some anti-aging drinks. These are things you can drink, and they say it's anti-aging. Now, I'm going to try to go out and do just about all of these, because I think I like everything on this list. Pink grapefruit juice. The only problem with grapefruit juice is that, apart from giving you smoother skin, they say, if you're taking any kind of medication, it counteracts with your medication, so be careful about grapefruit juice. So if you're taking medication, I would advise you to take the medication, let the medication work, and then you drink the juice. Say, for instance, you take your medication in the morning, then you drink the juice in the evening when the medication is already in your system. So it's not going to counteract with it. All right. That's my suggestion. And I think it's probably a good one. Don't forget, April 30th, I Love Me Day. International I Love Me Day. Alcohol to ward off Alzheimer's. Now, here they're telling you not to drink too much alcohol. Here they're telling you, but the alcohol they're talking about is red wine and those things. Not the heavy stuff, okay? Cocoa for a healthier heart. So can you imagine, I love hot chocolate and it's going to help my heart? That's a good thing, because chocolate, dark chocolate is good for you. Beet juice to beat dementia. Now, beet juice is very good, but I cannot drink it unless I have me some condensed milk in there. I can drink it, but I gotta hold my nose, because beet juice, unless you mix it with carrot juice or something else, it's kind of, you kind of have to acquire the taste for beet juice, but it's very healthy. It's good for you. If you're anemic, drink a lot of beet juice and it helps. It really is good for you. Green tea to quell inflammation. So if you have inflammation, green tea actually helps that inflammation. Soy milk for firm skin and fewer wrinkles. Now, I'm not too much into the soy, but when I saw this and I said firm skin, what? Fewer wrinkles? So it can save me some wrinkles? I don't know. I might just be trying some soy again. Okay. Milk, of course, to build your muscle mass and your strength. It's, some people can't do dairy, so I guess you have to find something else. Carrot juice, which is wonderful. It's good for your memory. Who knew? And then coffee to protect against skin cancer. I don't drink coffee very often, but I love Jamaican coffee, Blue Mountain coffee. And again, the problem with me is that if it doesn't have condensed milk, I don't want to drink it. So that's the reason I try to stay away, because then you're just drinking a sweet cup of coffee. Water for better breath. Did you know that water was good for bad breath? Wow. And orange juice for your eye health. So if you like orange juice, you can drink that for your eye health. I prefer to eat an orange than to drink the juice from the bottle. Or I like fresh squeezed orange juice. That's the only way I drink my orange juice. So if you like to drink orange juice from the bottle, or however way you like it, if you like it like me, wow, it's good for your eyes. So keep on doing that. And there was actually a research done here that supports water. There's actually scientific proof now that water can be a powerful tool to help you shed the pounds if you're trying to lose weight. So finally, water has been backed up by science. A study done by Associate Professor of Nutrition at Virginia Tech in 2010 finds that dieters who drink 2 glasses of water before, and I underline before, each meal lost more weight over a 3-month period than dieters who did not front load their meals with water. And don't forget that water is cheap, it's refreshing, and it's calorie free. So drink all the water you want and flush your system out. It's good for you. Study focused on older adults. It's simply water. It actually fills your stomach up, because if you're really hungry and you drink a glass of water, it doesn't have to be 2 prior to eating your dinner or whatever you're craving for. It actually takes away the craving. It really, really does. So now the science is there to back it up, thanks to the professor from Virginia Tech. All right, so kill the alcohol, they say, and kill the sugary drinks and drink more and more and more water. Dax also says the same thing too. Drink a lot of water. His wellness program requires that you drink a lot of water. So as he comes back to join us on Wednesday, we'll hear more about that. He showed me his jug of water that he drinks, and of course, I'm not supposed to be drinking out of plastic bottles, and I normally don't. I drink out of my Voss glass bottle, but construction and things going on, you know, so you try to not. This is the easiest thing. So I'm going to get back to my glass before the week is out. I promise I will, because I know my mentor and my good friend Pastor Blackwood is very mad when I'm not using something else but a bottle. Okay, so I promise I'll get back to the glass very swiftly. I was actually trying to get a cup or a glass with Diana Wright's show written on it, but wasn't that impressed with what I saw. So maybe you're out there and you're watching and you can send me a sample of something with the Diana Wright show written on it, a cup or nothing made of plastic. I will not do that. It has to be made of glass, or, you know, a cup would be fine. All right? Like a teacup. So get moving on that. And like me on Facebook. Come on, tweet me. Tweet something. I see quite a few people are responding to specific shows. We invite you to do that too. Tell us why you like the show, why you hate a show, why whatever. You agree with something I said, you don't agree, or whatever the case is. Just communicate through Facebook. And as I said before, if you have a book that you'd like to promote, I welcome you on the program to do so. And if you have a young person in your life that you think need to be celebrated, I need my young person for the month of March, and I have not found anyone. No one has called me about. Are you want to tell me that there's no young person in your life that's doing well and being good and trying to do their best? Come on now. You can do better than that. Okay, just in case you're planning to move, I thought I'd let you know this. Metro cities that posted the highest percentage growth between 2011 and 2012. Midland, Texas, 4.6%. Clarksville, Tennessee, 3.7%. Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, that's in Destin, Florida, 3.6%. Destin, Florida, I'm not sure. You know, I read some of the people were responding to this article and they were saying, who wants to go live in those places anyway? Okay, The Village, that's in Florida. I don't know where that one is, 3.4%. Odessa, Texas, 3.4% also. Jacksonville, North Carolina, that's 3.3% growth. Austin, Round Rock, that's in Texas, 3% growth. Casper, Wyoming, 3%. Columbus, Georgia, and Albany, Georgia, that's 2.9%. And Manhattan, Kansas, 2.8%. So just in case you're planning to move, because, you know, people seem to be, you know, itching to move to another place that you can find a cheaper house or a bigger mansion for less money, or whatever you move for, whatever the reason you move, change jobs, or whatever the case is, or you're just kind of tired of the place that you live right now. So I just figured I'd let you know that. Those are some of the places that had growth between 2011 and 2012. So you can actually plan your move strategically. My desire is to go live in France or somewhere in Europe for a little bit, even a year or so. I'd love to do that. Yes, welcome to my viewers from around the world and in the United States. I thank you for joining me. Okay, metro areas that added the most new residents. Now, see, I told you people are moving. People are not staying one place these days. You know, they stay here and they don't like it. They're on the move. So Dallas and Houston, Texas are basically number one. Los Angeles, Long Beach, California, and Anaheim, California. New York, Newark, Jersey City, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. Atlanta, Sandy Springs, and Roswell. Phoenix, that's Mesa and Scottsdale in Arizona. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Florida. We're getting lots of people. Of course, you know, every time it snows and the winter is horrible, people just seem to find their way to Florida. And then they're here for a year or two and they hate Florida. So they want to go back north. It's just a roller coaster of moving and trying to find the best place to live. San Francisco, Oakland. And there's a place called Hayward, California. And Seattle, Tacoma, Bellevue, and Washington. Those are the places that are the movers. Most of the people are moving to those cities. So, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Some people hate Miami, but see, people are moving there. So, what doesn't work for you will work for someone else. You hate this city, another person loves it, and they move there and they have a wonderful life. And you just couldn't find any joy there. So, just keep on moving until you find joy, peace, and happiness, because that's the key to life. Okay, and a Gallup poll that was done, and they wanted to find out how people are feeling about America, or how Americans feel about certain countries. Well, and as we go through this, I want you to remember that the feeling is mutual. So if you like a place, they kind of like you too, and if you hate a place, they kind of hate you too as Americans. Okay, so the places that we loved most, no one surveyed me or asked me my opinion. Canada, Britain, Germany, Japan, France, India, and Israel. And the places we really did not like very well? Iraq, Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, North Korea. I was kind of shocked about Venezuela being on that list. But I guess Hugo Chavez kind of made it that way. Well, he's gone now, so let's give the place a chance. I ask you to. Thank you. And don't forget, October 5, we will be giving you a chance to save a life at the Save a Life Jamaica Foundation, headed by Novlet Gale. We're having a function that you will love and adore, but if you're not going to be able to make it, we ask you to make your contribution of $20 to the website of Save a Life Jamaica Foundation, so we can help you to save a life in Jamaica and around the world. All right? So we thank you for that in advance as you flesh out them $20 bills. Okay. Did you know that Judge Judy is being sued? And sued for something quite silly, I think. For getting a deal on some china. Now this china is supposed to be very expensive. It's Christoffel china, worth $500,000. Now that's buying a house. Now, I don't care how much money I have. I'm not buying china for $500,000. Why are people buying $500,000 china? So the deal is this, that Judge Judy bought the china from someone who she knows, but that couple is getting divorced and the wife wants the china back. So because the wife believes that Judge Judy ripped off the husband by only giving him $50,000 for china that's worth $500,000. So the wife wants the china back. Should she be giving back the china? What are your thoughts? I wonder. Now, if I get a deal from the guy and you're divorcing him, what do you care? Maybe she wanted the china for herself, but she is demanding that Judge Judy give back that china. $50,000 for a $500,000? No, China, that's what I call a great deal. I would love to get a deal like that. It's a wonderful deal. Can you imagine buying something that's worth $500,000 for $50,000? Wow. Okay, so eating on this china must be, must be actually great. Judge Judy, could you invite me to your house to eat on those china? I think I would love to see what they look like. Wow. Christoffel china. That's the name of it. So you might want to go find out about it, just in case. So the wife is hopping mad, and Judge Judy is simply saying, I did nothing wrong. You know Judge Judy. She's just that cool little lady who just whips it out in the court to the people. And then now she says, I didn't do anything wrong. I just got a deal. So, as we come to a close of the program this evening, we will talk about the richest neighborhoods in the United States of America. The village of Indian Hill, that's in Ohio. Where all the thing went down over the weekend. 2 young men were found guilty for raping the young woman. One 17, one 16. They don't exactly live in the village of Indian Hill, but it's Ohio. So, Ohio has its wealth. I think every state that you go to has a place that rich people actually live. And you should always try to find out where that place is and see what it looks like. Don't just go to a place and fuddle around with the city and not know what's going on. Whenever I go someplace, I always say to someone, okay, tell me where the rich people live in this place. And most of the times they would just laugh, and then they'd, direct me and my husband and my daughter to where the place is. And it's always wonderful to go and just see how they live. It's nice. It's beautiful. And we should all aspire to live like that. Not that we all are going to get there, but at least have the aspiration and the intention to do so. Short Hills, that's in New Jersey. That's a town of Governor Chris Christie's town. Short Hills, New Jersey. Scarsdale, New York, a lot of us know that. Chevy Chase, Maryland, I've heard of that one too. Cherry Hills Village in Colorado. Muttontown in New York. I have not simply heard of that one, and I lived in New York for a long time. Kellensworth, Illinois. Brookville, New York. Hewlett Neck Bay Park. That's also in New York. Wow. Chevy Chase Section 5, that's in Maryland. Those are the richest neighborhoods in our beautiful country called America. So, as I reflect on the Pope today and just continue to say that I simply love Pope Francis I. And I think he's getting a lot of love from people all over the world who are not Catholics like myself. So Pope Francis, I look forward to meeting you one of these days as I get some of your energy rubbed off on my palm. I seriously would love to meet Pope Francis I. He seems like such a wonderful, warm human being, and we all love him. I just heard loves and loves and loves for the Pope all around. Even the women in the church, the Catholic Church, who are hopping mad with the Catholic Church for not having any women priests, they're loving the Pope. They love him. So, I'm not supposed to be moving around like that, because then the camera shot jumps and you get mad. Well, someone is actually requesting that I do the shows longer. We'll think about that as we move along. Yeah, we'll do that. But in the meantime, we ask you, to like us, love us on Facebook, give us the thumbs up, tweet us, and tell your friends about the program. Have them watching the show. And as we go on this journey, we're going to open the lines, especially in the evenings, and give you a chance. And if you can only do it in the morning time, that's fine too. Just pour your heart out and let us know what you're struggling with. We're in the department of love. Why is it so difficult for you to love yourself? Tell me. Maybe we can guide you through. As we encourage you to love yourself and remind you of April 30th, the International I Love Me Day, declared by the Diana Wright Show, I'd love for you to call, pour your hearts out. No one is seeing you on the phone. You can be anonymous. You don't have to do the Skype thing that I request that some people do. And, it's up to you. Just share your struggles with love, your pain, your hurt, your broken heart with love. And whatever it is you're experiencing with love, we'd love to know. And how are you going? Maybe you can just tell me on Facebook too. How are you succeeding with loving yourself? Are you being successful at this thing? Are you looking in the mirror every day to tell yourself that you love yourself? Are you teaching your children to love themselves? And are you finding your own happiness, your joy, and your peace? Because no one else can provide that for you. No one else, I promise you. And when people like Anna, who was interviewed for the article for the Philadelphia Magazine, talk about how she feels about black people. We don't pay no taxes. We just smoke pot and sit in the rocking chair on the porch and have babies. How insulting, how rude. Yes, how rude of her. Never criticize someone until you know and have shared and experienced their struggles. Because only then can you speak authentically. Only then can you speak authentically about their suffering and their struggling when you have experienced it. And as I always say to people, we're never concerned until the fire is burning our own house. That's when we get excited. And as in the case of Senator Portman, the fire of gayness was burning in his house and he never knew until he was told by his son that he was always gay. And oh yes, the fire is now burning in Senator Portman's house. So he can oblige us, all the folks who are gay, who have been fighting all these years for gay marriage. You will now get the support of Senator Portman because the fire has begun to burn in his own house. Thank you so much for joining me. Please join me again tomorrow morning at 10:30 when we will try to lift you up, try to encourage you, inspire you, and give you some tips and some news and things that you might not be thinking or seeking out yourself. Right here on the Diana Wright Show, live 10:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, Friday only in the mornings. And as we try to get different views and talk about different books and explore different things on the program, along with current events, we invite you to be part of us, to love us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, give us a thumbs up on Facebook. I hear all the people on the networks begging you to like them on Facebook and begging you to tweet them, so I'll do the same. Tweet me. Let me know what you're thinking. And email me at dianawrighttv@gmail.com. dianawrighttv@gmail.com. Call me sometime, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And I'll be happy to accommodate. Thank you so much. No haters. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. I say ciao, au revoir, and adios. and good night. And be blessed and stay prayed up. Be-do-be-do-be.